Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams, despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Welcome to Win-Win Women. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and this is Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. And we are here to talk all about what things help boost your confidence and take you to the next level. And today we're really going to dive in and talk about your social media game. Like, what are you doing on social media as a female entrepreneur? How can we make that better? And on the show, my guest today is Lauren Litt. So, hey, Lauren, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Alicia. I am still very honored to be here. I jumped in. I was like, I can't wait. So here we are.
Listen, I've looked at what you've got going on, and I'm super excited to share this information because people really need it. I mean, I need it. I need these tips. Things that you're sharing.
Oh, I looked at your social. You've got some fun things going on. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff here.
I got a lot of stuff going on, girl. A lot.
Yes.
But I'm sure I still need a social media manager to help me pull it all together because there's just a lot happening.
Exactly. You have almost the opposite problem of some people, like where you have just a fire hose and you're like, which piece do I put? Because there's so much going on.
So much. So we'll talk. But
Great.
Tell everyone a little bit about your background and how you got into your business, which is called, I love it, Lil Shameless Plug. I love it.
That's right. Yeah. We're just a little shameless plug.
A little shameless plug.
So my company, I'm an actor. That's my background. And I'm still an actor, but many years ago, almost 10 years ago now, over 10 years ago, I had a web series. Remember when those were really big?
Yeah.
And we had like some great success with this web series, and it was all directly connected to our Twitter account. And I had fought tooth and nail to be on social media because a couple years prior, as an actor, I'd been a target of some pretty nasty online talk due to a commercial of all things that I did. Yeah, like, come on, people. And so I had been like, I will never be on social media again. And then I do this web series and I was like, hold up. We fully funded our web series. I think we got like over $7,000. We, were able to launch. We had this huge live launch with hundreds of people that attended. And I was like, this is a very powerful tool. How can we use this, but yet protect ourselves from it at the same time? And so, I looked around, a lot of my friends were asking me for help because I'd kind of figured this whole thing out. And I was like, well, I literally will kill myself if I have to wait one more table. And so I decided to start my own business. And that's how Lil Shameless Plug was born.
Awesome.
Yeah, I actually shout out, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and shout out to the Women's Business Bureau of Van Nuys, California, because I went through some, entrepreneurship class there, and they helped me see how I could make this a business. And fast forward, I employ 10 people, and I get to help people both full service, and I also teach and coach people so that they can do that within their own systems. And I love it.
Awesome. That's really exciting. And it's great to build something of your own and not have to always depend on someone else to help you pay your bills. That's one of the skill sets, I would say, that everybody needs to know, but not everybody wants to. You need to.
I don't want to. I'm waiting for the day I can sit down and eat bonbons. Like,
I know.
I'm ready for it.
I think we're all waiting for the day.
No, but like, for sure, there is a joy in it. It is hard work. I'm not like, the fast forward part was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I am proud of what I've created. And I love, seeing my team thrive and seeing them, enjoy the different parts of what we do for social media.
So let me ask you about how you niche down to female entrepreneurs to help them. Is it because you saw that in the market that women are really struggling on social media, or is it more because you're a female entrepreneur, you're like, these are my peeps, I want to help them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's both. Because I am so acutely aware of the harm social media can do because I was a target at one point. When people come to me, like I literally say, I help people who don't like social media, but know they need it for their business. If there is a natural reticence to you showing up online, to being visible with your company, I get that very, very much because it does feel scary. And so I think a lot of women are naturally more open to being like, I'm failing at this and I need help. Whereas men will be like, no, I got it. I
got this.
I can bro my way through this. And you're like, okay, that's fine. So I think that that's kind of naturally how it happened. But I also, like, I don't have this company because social media is a scam. Like, I have a company because people are able to raise their businesses to the next level. There's a direct correlation between your marketing and how many people you can reach.
Yeah.
And so, that's dollar signs. And so I love seeing people when they're ready to take that next step, bring on a marketing team like my company, or even just be like, I'm ready to be on social media. What does that look like? Can that bring another $10,000, $20,000 to my business this year? Because that's a real thing for people.
Yeah. So the algorithm, that's something, oh my gosh. It's like, what do I do here? And what do I not do over here? And how do I do this? And how do I do that? It's if you're trying to run your own business and you're an expert at what you do, you don't need to be an expert in social media as well, right?
You legit do not have time. You don't.
I don't. That's why I have just a fire hose of stuff, because I don't have time to really sit down and figure out. And so okay, people, listen to me carefully. While you see a lot of stuff out there from me, I'm probably not doing what I should be doing on social media. I'm not doing the right things. I just make sure that I'm seen every day. Not that I want to be seen every day, but I'm just making sure that I'm seen every day. And I keep thinking to myself, one day I'll figure this out. One day I'll sit down and I'll have the time to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing here. And then I realize you don't have time for this.
You don't have time for this. But you did say a word that I really like to throw out when it comes to marketing, and that's the word should. Because when we hear advice about social media, whether it's your LinkedIn platform or, Instagram, which so many of my clients love, we hear advice from social media managers and influencers. And the two things that social media managers and influencers have in common is we spend 50, 60 hours a week doing social media, right? Like you do not spend 50, 60 hours a week doing social media, nor do you want to. Yes, exactly. And so what I specialize in is I understand each of the platforms. I like to say every platform's like a game. And so we can't take the rules of Monopoly and play shoots and ladders. Right.
Well, they're like children. You have 5 children, all 5 are different.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. This one will not eat the crust. And that one is like, give me all the crust. Yes. Yeah. So you have to be aware of the rules so that we can bend them and break them to fit your life. So, showing up, one of the things that people think when they're thinking about social media is, I've got to be on there every single day. I've got to be putting out content all the time and make this work for me. And no, you don't. You do not. And the reason is, thankfully, the algorithms. So we have to understand the main goal of every single social media platform is to keep people on the platform so they can sell them shit. Yes. Right. And so they found just a fire hose of information, since that's a phrase I'm using right now, that's coming through the feed that's a low grade quality of content is not what keeps people on the platform. What keeps people on the platform are engaging stories and high level visuals and video, which all takes time. And so they've had to adjust the algorithm to be like, oh, okay, you can show up once a week and we will make sure that shows up in front of people if it's good content that's being engaged with. So let's take that pressure off of ourselves. Everybody who's listening right now, you do not have to show up every single day. But what I do want you to understand is that when you do show up, It should be in a way that is serving your audience, that's getting them to know, like, and trust you in order to be able to buy from you. So that's the conversation that I normally am having with people, is like, what are the ways you serve people? What are the things that you can help them bring awareness to their problem, so that when you're ready to say, my next book is coming out, or I've got a couple coaching spots open, people are ready to work with you because they're like, yes, I can't wait, you know?
Nice. All right. So we talked a little bit about the adjustment to the algorithm and how, video content is really what does move, more or less. They want to see more video and high quality video content on these platforms. What about ads? Because, do you feel like you have to buy ads and to compete?
Yeah, that's such a good question, especially on the eve of Meta announcing that they're going to be, rolling out paid verification. So the reason why I bring that up, and the reason why I bring ads up, my company, Lil Shameless Plug, and also in my consultation business, I never recommend paying for advertising. And the reason is, most of the companies that I'm working with are around 6 figures, and you're just not dealing with a big enough budget, a big enough advertising budget to make it worth your while. Years and years ago, I heard someone say, boosting an ad, when it says like, oh, put $5 behind this or $10 behind this, it's like throwing pennies into the ocean. There's just not enough money that you're putting behind your ad. You haven't taken the time to make sure that ad is being directed to your direct audience. And so you're just like literally throwing money away. I would rather see you take that $20 a month or $40 a month and save it up, and maybe, work with a social media advertiser or manager for 1 month, and be like, okay, what does this look like? How can I make a plan? Because that's going to actually do more for your business. Paid ads can be beneficial, but again, you need to have a certain level of engagement happening. And I want to make sure that you're not just tossing it away. So
yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense. That makes a lot, because I am not a Facebook ads person or Instagram ads. I'm not that person, because I don't see the ROI on it.
Yeah.
For my business. It's like not, and the kind of business, because I work mostly with corporate clients, they're not trolling social media for ads. So it's not something that's necessarily going to help me. But now some other areas of my business, maybe, but still, I don't see ads specifically working in my situation. I have a coach, my business coach is always like, don't throw your money away on Facebook ads. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's something that, like, is there a time and a place to boost a post? Absolutely. But there are so many other things that you could be doing with your resources, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Like, please don't do it. Please don't.
Right. Like you said, save up your money and work with someone like Lauren, a social media manager, to help you really understand and put put your resources in the right place when it comes to social media.
And you brought up ROI, which I love, because like everybody's like, oh, social media can be so vanity, like fluffing, right? Everybody's like, oh, what do I look like and what's going on? And the return on your investment in social media, one, it's going to take time. There is no, okay, I'm going to start working with someone. Yeah. And tomorrow, the money funnel's going to go on. One of my clients, she's a very specific niche, and we had been working together for 6 months before the first person reached out to her and said, hey, I've been watching your content on LinkedIn and I just can't wait to work with you. Now, she has a very high ticket price, so like that one client more than paid for my company for a year for her. But these things take time, and she's had more like since SEO. Then. But like,
like
SEO.
So SEO doesn't just happen
overnight. No,
right.
No, and it's an ongoing process. Yeah.
That's amazing, because the whole purpose of this is really to help you build your confidence in your social media game. Let me break them down a little bit so we can talk a little bit about each one of them. So as an entrepreneur, what do you think is the most important, and I know this is a setup question, right? So
great.
What's the most important platform you should be on?
It's hilarious you're asking that because I literally have a quiz. What's the platform for you? It depends on your audience.
Yes.
So now everybody is everywhere, right? If my sweet little grandmother was still alive, I am sure she would be digging TikTok. But generally, if we're looking at the different platforms, LinkedIn is more of a business to business situation.
Right.
Instagram is going to be women in their late 30s through maybe 50. You've got TikTok, which is a younger audience that's generally buying from there. So if you're product based, TikTok can be a really great place. People in their 20 somethings looking to do those like lower level product offers under $100. What else do we have? Facebook. Facebook is the millennials. They're back there. The Facebook groups are thriving. Oh, yes, they are. Because you have to remember, millennials are in their 40s, like early 40s now. And that's what Facebook is jamming with, because that's where we see the friends' photos of their kids and you're connecting with family. And
my heart just stopped a second when you
I know we're so old. It's okay.
Being in their 40s.
The American Girl doll just came out with their historical 1990s doll. So we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I know your audience is
old right now.
I know.
I know.
I'm going to take a minute.
A post that said, the 90s were 30 years ago. When did that happen? Or when was the 90s? Yeah. When did that happen? When did that happen?
No, it's not appropriate. We're not going to talk about it.
Let's
Facebook is, if you're looking at, again, mid 30s through 40s and want more of a mixed audience, Facebook is a great place. What haven't we covered? Twitter. If you are funny, if you deal with anything in the news, if you like to deal with of the moment topics, that's Twitter. That's your audience that's happening there. Twitter is more male dominated. So if you're selling to men, that's where you want to be. I think I covered YouTube. Everyone is
everywhere on YouTube.
So I like to say there are 3 what I call secret converters, because overall on social media, you're going to have a very low conversion rate moving people off platform. You're going to have somewhere between a 1% to 3% conversion rate getting your audience to buy from you. The 3 where I have found that this is not true: LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube. Those people, for some reason, there is a mindset like Pinterest makes sense to me because I just renovated my kitchen. I'm pinning, tile. I'm pinning the new faucet. And then I'm like, oh, and it's for sale and I'm buying it now. So that makes sense to me, but people are more open. They want to learn and they are looking for answers when they're on those 3 platforms. So those 3 can be really helpful for a business if you're willing to put in the work on them.
Awesome. That is incredible. I love that breakdown that you just shared, because it's so true and it works. Yeah. The one that shocked me though was Facebook, the millennials, and that's
the elder millennials. Yeah. I know, right? Because we feel so young. We've been so young for so, but we're not the young ones anymore.
but even Instagram, that shocked me too. Women
in their 30s and 40s, yes,
mid to late 30s into their 40s. That surprised me too.
Yeah, but it's not a young
much platform. Because when it started, it was more of the younger generation, but they've moved to TikTok and kind of as we're adopting it, they're like, nope, we're out.
Yeah, it's again, might be a hard thing for people to hear, but nobody wants to be on the platform their parents are on.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So, as kids are coming up, they're like, Mom can see my stuff. No, I'm not here. I'm doing something else.
That's true. Well, yeah. This is really fascinating. Now, I know that was like a setup question and you explained it so well, because it depends on what you're doing and who your audience is to be on each of these platforms. Now, the person who is like just petrified of doing anything on social media, they're like, I'm B2B, I'm only on LinkedIn, and I don't want to be anywhere else because it's just scary to be anywhere else. Is there value in like being on multiple platforms, even if you're B2B?
Yes. So in the full service side of my company, we have a base package, and it includes 2 social media platforms, SEO, and newsletter and lead magnet service for a reason. And that reason is we found through working for years that the internet, because everything you put on the internet, like y'all, if you are on Instagram, you're doing SEO, good job. But everything you put on the internet feeds into your overall marketing message. And if we can have you on at least 2 platforms, that gives us 2 points of data. Mm-hmm. So I like to have a business. If you're B2B, like throw up a Facebook page. You can treat it just like a landing page on a website where you can just have a couple of posts. And I love to recommend to people, if you're not going to be on a platform, have one post pinned to the top that says, hey, I'm not on here very often, but you can find me on LinkedIn, and here's the link. So that people, when they go to your page, they'll be like, oh, they haven't posted. Oh, it's because they're not here. I'm going to go see their LinkedIn page. But Google is searching and finding that content. And so if I'm looking up Alicia Couri, we want your LinkedIn page to be there. We want your Facebook page to be there. We want your Instagram page to be there, because that gives social proof that you exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Otherwise, you're like Sandra Bullock in the net. You're like,
yeah. Exactly.
And if anybody is too young to know that reference, go and look it up.
I was going to say, just turn off, just go away.
Just go away. No. We love you all. We love all of you. And so now this is all about unleashing your confidence. And so I wanted you to share some tips for people who are kind of apprehensive. Let's say they're not at the point where they're ready to hire you. They're a little apprehensive. They know they have to do this in their business. First of all, number one, how do they find the right platform, right? Yes. 2 platforms to be on? And what kind of things should they be posting?
Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm going to get a little woo-woo. I just want everybody to kind of like close your eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and let it out. Because that reticence you feel to being online is your body protecting you. And it's protecting you because you've had a bad experience, or, you're very susceptible to the dopamine crash that you get when you leave. There is a reason that you're not on, and it's not simply because you're not confident, because if you're running your own business, girl, you are good. It is because your body is protecting you. So first step is to understand that you're going to need to embark on a path of education in order to keep yourself protected, and just thank your body. Say, thank you for protecting me, for keeping me from this, but I've got this. And I'm actually going to be smart about being on this platform. So that's step 1. Mm-hmm. Step 2 is, like I mentioned, I do have a quiz that'll help pair you with your perfect platform, but really think about your audience. Who are you looking to serve? Who is that person? I'm sure, Alicia, you talk a lot about niching down and helping people get really clear about who they're serving, and find the platform that matches those people. The third step you're going to do is outline the most basic way you can show up. If that is for you showing up once a month on that platform, great. For 3 months, you're going to post once a month. Let's say Facebook. Okay. Well, let's say Instagram, because I bet your audience is a lot on Instagram. Once a month on Instagram, you're going to create one post and put that one post out on Instagram. And you're going to do that for 3 months. And after that, you're going to be like, oh, okay.
So should they do posts and stories?
Ooh, you're up-leveling the game here. I want them to build their confidence. So okay. I want them to see, this is not scary. I have the time to do this. I'm proud of the piece of work that I put out there. And then let's layer stories in, right? Instagram is such a fantastic platform. And it's because it actually has multiple algorithms. It's literally like 3 platforms in one, because there are different ways that you can show up, and they don't actually cross promote, even though they all feed and help the funnel of people coming down to be ready to buy from you if you're on there as a business. So having that confidence to post. And then I also want you to build in engagement time, because even though posting on social media is important, it's literally only 50% of the game. If you aren't actually engaging with the people who've posted with your content, if you're not reaching out to other people, commenting on their stuff, the algorithm is being like, this person isn't really here. They're just posting and ghosting. We're not really going to pay attention to their content because they're not actually giving us value back. So it's 50% of your time. If you only have time to post once, you're going to go on, you're going to post, and then you're going to spend 30 minutes a week just on that platform, responding to the people who've liked your stuff, looking for other people, responding to their stuff. And please don't be like, hey, I've got a great post, come see it. If you don't know someone, that's weird. Like you wouldn't go
That's
onto the
spamming.
subway. Yeah,
That's what'll get you banned.
You would not sit down on the subway and turn to the person next to you and be like, hi, would you like to come to my house? Like, what? No, that's weird. Remember that you're a person. These other people are people. This is all about relationships.
Yeah.
So I think that will help people build their confidence. And look, social media isn't hard. I know it can feel so frustrating and things change so quickly. And it is like, I want to explode my brain. But let's remember that something like 50% of America thinks that brown cows make chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
The people who made these platforms are aware that 50% of America think that brown cows make chocolate milk. And so therefore, these platforms are really easy. Yes, they can be frustrating. We can all be frustrated, but they didn't build them for only like Fortune 500 companies to be able to figure it out. They built it for you and me and our friends who think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. So like you can do this. There is a video somewhere where you can figure it out, or fast forward YouTube, y'all.
You can find anything on YouTube.
You literally can, or fast forward the process. You know, if you're like, now I'm ready, I'm on this platform, hire someone like me, you know, get a social media manager to sit down with you and teach you the rules of the game so you can go on and do it yourself.
Yes. Love those tips and love the idea that, listen, you don't have to have it all right now. Pace yourself, take your time, learn, take some courses, take some classes on how to do certain things. Like I've taken classes on Instagram. I've taken classes on YouTube. I've taken classes. It's just that the time in the day, I don't have to implement everything that I've taken.
Exactly. Like there's
I've
so
taken
much
classes on LinkedIn. Yeah, I've taken a lot of classes on these platforms. And the thing about it is your messaging. So, and you can share a little bit more on this too, is your messaging has to tweak slightly differently for each one of these platforms to really get to the audience that you want for the algorithm's sake, the way the algorithm likes to play.
Yeah. I mean, I love using the example of Instagram to Facebook, right? When people push Instagram through to Facebook, everybody who sees a post that has come through from Instagram is like, swipe. Because we're all very clear that you're not on here. You've just shared that content from Instagram, because we know there's 1,800 hashtags. You know, it's like set up for Instagram. It is not set up for Facebook.
And the tags are different. But you know what I do actually, when it does share to Instagram, from Instagram to Facebook, I go into my Facebook and I change and I edit it.
Yeah.
That's
fabulous. Fabulous. Like
it doesn't look like it came from
yeah, when you're like, because it's a different way to, we all are used to the platform we're on, and we all know, you just know deep in your bones, like this person's not really on here. And it doesn't take much time. And there are a lot of free scheduling tools, including Meta itself. Meta, I used to not recommend it to people, but they have a really great back-end scheduling tool that is absolutely free to use. And you can take that Instagram post and have it go to Instagram and go to Facebook at exactly the same time, and it'll be appropriate for both platforms.
Right. Nice. I didn't know that. I know we could schedule some things out on the platform, but I didn't realize that you can do both of those. So good.
Yeah. They've like, it's literally been only maybe the last 3 to 6 months that I've been like, okay, yeah, you can use that. But because it was so glitchy, it was glitchy AF for a very long time. And it was so frustrating. And I'd be like, please don't get on there. You will hate your life. So, but you know, like there's Later is fantastic. I used to really love, I can't remember the other one that has kind of a free or Meet Edgar. Yeah, oh my God, I love Meet Edgar so much. It's a little pricey if you are a solopreneur, like if you're just looking to do one platform or two, but it's a fantastic, fantastic platform. Hootsuite, the same thing. We actually just upgraded to Hootsuite, and it is very pricey, but we use all of those crazy things that it has for just a solopreneur, like literally for free on the basic plan of most of these platforms. You can get your job done. So don't spend money when you don't have to.
Excellent. Wow. I'm loving this conversation because I have so many people that always ask me about social media, and I'm like, I'm not the one. They're like, but you do so well on it. You do. I'm like, yeah, but this is not this is not my niche. Like,
Yeah.
social media is not my thing, and I might be appearing there a lot. You see me there a lot, but doesn't mean that I'm doing a good job on it.
I
I'm doing
mean,
the right things on it.
you definitely have your act together. You've got your brand. Like, I knew exactly who I was meeting when I did my little research, right? I was like, I know exactly who Alicia is. This is great. So I understand why people are reaching out to you because, yeah, it's very clear who you are. And I don't feel like you're a stranger. So good
Okay,
work
well,
on that.
good. At least I've done that right.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Now, well, okay, let me use me as an example here.
Great.
As I ask you this question, because I have multiple business endeavors that are on social media. So you said you
Mhm.
looked up my social media. So I have the web shows and the podcasts and all those that I do promote on social media. And then I have my consulting that I do that is all within the corporate space. So that's
Mhm.
most of that stuff I post is in LinkedIn, but some of it trickles through the other
Yeah.
platforms because, hey, someone could be on Twitter, so what could I be doing better as someone that has a lot of content in different genres? So that
Yes.
because people do look at me and say, well, not people, I should say marketing or someone who's trying to sell me a service, let's say for LinkedIn. Oh, you need to work
Mhm.
with me. So when I look at your stuff, it's all over the place. So like that. So
It's so insulting when people do that. You're like, yeah, now I want to work with you because you've made me feel like SHIT. Okay, great.
right, yeah. So
Okay.
so
Yes.
how do I, as someone that has multiple things going on that I want people to know about,
Yeah.
really either streamline or help people understand what it is they should engage with and what stuff they can just, swipe?
Absolutely. So the my business coach Dallas Travers has always said, and this is just so true to me, a confused mind says no.
Oh, right. Does nothing.
And so, like you're saying, like if you have all of these different things you do because you're pulling levers left and right for different things because you have you're multi-talented, you've got a lot of stuff. So I would want you to become aware of which platform really needs to hear which things.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, so let's say you're business to business, because you do consulting with corporations, right?
Right.
Specifically.
So
Your
most of
Instagram
that
audience,
definitely.
your Twitter audience doesn't really need to know now. Now, if they are on there, but they also are on LinkedIn, and so they know you do this thing and they reach out and talk to you about it, great, fine. But we want to have like a clear message, a clear kind of personality on each platform so people know exactly what they're doing. Because if we give them that fire hose, they're going to be like, there's a whole lot going on. She probably doesn't have time for me.
Yeah.
And you have time.
Yeah.
That's why you built this business. That's why you have a podcast. That's why,
I'm like,
yeah.
huh, I have time to work with you. I have time to
Yeah.
work with you. Yeah.
You're like, I legit, that's why I do all this. So
Right.
we want them to feel like she knows what she's doing. She has the resources to help me. And this is the exact step that I need to take next. So potentially pulling back on some content. People don't need to know all of the things you're doing.
Yeah.
They can just have that next piece that they need. I like to say it's a bad analogy because when Hansel and Gretel went into the woods and they were leaving the breadcrumbs, the animals ate them and then the witch ate them. So, but we have to think
We have
about,
to still leave breadcrumbs.
yes, we want to leave baby breadcrumbs, like one little step at a time, because it's too much to ask people, hi, here's a post, now sign up for my $10,000 program. Like that is such a huge leap for people. They're like, my mind is blown. And even, when people are saying, people will talk. I love this. I worked with this one woman and she was like, oh, no one wants what I'm selling. She's a consultant for really high level functioning women who are looking to bring their confidence back, kind of like, what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And I said, Michelle, I'm looking at your social media. You're showing up so authentically all over the place. And then the single post that you're saying that, hey, I've got a couple one-on-one coaching spots available. It was red with white writing, so you couldn't read it. She had no clear call to action. She was like talking about, I've got some spots open and blah, 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 blah. So yay. I'm like, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to click the link in your bio? Are we supposed to just pray that you know that I want to work with you? You know, like it was so hidden.
Yeah.
So really being clear about what you're asking people to do and really read it through 3 times. Like if I were 3 glasses of wine in, would I know what I'm supposed to do with this post? Right?
And leave it for a day. Like, don't even look at it.
Please.
Come back to it after a day, because
yes.
then your brain is not in the same place that it was when you wrote it. Because a lot of times if your brain is in that same place when you wrote it, you're going to miss mistakes because it's auto-filling. It's auto-correcting what your eyes are seeing. So just leave it alone for a day and then go back to it and reread it. It's so funny because I would write content and my assistant, my VA would put it together for the post and send it to me. She always sends me stuff before she posts it. She would send it to me. Is this okay? And I would read it. I'm like, who wrote this? I'm like, no, I need to edit this whole thing. Don't post it yet.
Yeah, like this was my 3 a.m. brain. This was not.
I'm like,
yes. Yes.
So yeah, so leave it another day and rewrite it in a different form. You know, like having her actually put it in the format that it's going to be posted out helps me see. It's like, no, there should be a paragraph break here, or you know, this. Yeah. So you get to really see it.
Yeah. And that's the other thing about writing content for social media versus, you know, if you're writing a letter or an email or something, you need to make that, well, even an email now, people are so used to scanning. If they're clicking those 3 little dots, they want to just be able to scan down and get kind of the gist about what you've written.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see posts that are like 1 sentence, space, 3 words, space, another kind of paragraph, space, the big thing in bold, because it's made for people to scan, because people are very passive when they're on social media now. That this is such an entertainment space that if you are giving educational content or, you know, helpful content, any kind of tips, it needs to be in a way that I can just kind of like scan through it and be like, yeah, cool, great, I'm on, you know?
Yeah, I scan to see how long it is if I have the time to read it. If it's too long, I'm the person that if it's too long, I'll read the first couple lines and then the last couple lines and then I'll comment.
Yeah.
Like if I see some of the other comments that are saying something specific, I'll go back and I'll look for that specific thing. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what, okay.
What a fun idea to leave an Easter egg in the middle. That's like something really juicy. And people are like, wait, hold up.
What? I missed that. Wait. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I read content. I want to scan. I don't want to, especially if I have to do twice and you're still writing.
That's a lot.
Next thing. That's too much.
Yeah.
Let me scan one time, get to the end, leave my comment and move. So
yeah. And not every post has to be a Bible, y'all.
Right.
Yeah. Like it doesn't, I know that is one of the shoulds that you're hearing, that like, oh, you've got to write the long content. The reason why people started saying that is because one of the things the platforms are looking at is how long are you spending on this piece of content? And so if someone is having to read 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the platforms are now saying, oh, this must be a valuable piece of content. You can do the same thing in shorter thing. Like maybe you have someone think of something, or maybe you've got a carousel. Please use carousels. They're so great. People love to swipe, and everybody is thinking of that, or Instagram thinks of that as an action. They're like, oh, look at how engaging this post is.
More photos. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, don't underestimate these other pieces of content that you can really play with in lieu of, or in addition to the written content that you're going to include.
Nice. I love that you shared that, because it's how much time is someone spending on that. If it's too long, because for someone like me, and I know a lot of people who are busy that don't have time to read your whole, like you said, Bible, like this whole dissertation that you've just written about, you know, about your dog going for a walk this morning, I'm like, I don't want to have to read that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to move on. So for me, it's tough for me to sit and read all of that unless it's something really interesting or something that's really either
Yeah.
pulls my heartstrings or I can resonate with as another mom that's going through something. So that's by interesting content, right?
Yes. And that puts us back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Like, if you can only put really great content out once a month, maybe that is that long post because you really thought about it. You've put intention behind it. But if you're trying to write a 5 to 10 paragraph post every single day, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not
it's not going to be good. It's just not.
Okay, so I love the carousel. I'm going to use that more because
please.
I got lots of listen, I got lots of pictures. I got a lot of content.
Yes, you are a very photogenic person. I believe there is a lot of content happening.
A lot of content happening. Thank you. But not just pictures of me, though. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of pictures of me, but
well, even like
pictures of things like as I'm like even the shows, like when I do an interview with you, I do put out the clips of, to promote the show, but I can also grab just some screenshots of us and put some little things, be a little bit more creative with not just the well-designed graphic that graphic artist puts out all the time, but also have a carousel of other things. So people
and it's so great because like y'all, we all listen to podcasts. I go to the Instagram page or the Twitter account because I'm always like, what do they look like? What are they talking? I want to see what it looks like. Or if I'm a big true crime person, so they'll be like talking about the place or the door to the room. Like, you can see that house on our Instagram. And I'm going to Instagram because I want the visual to be an addition. So podcasts in particular, I have a couple clients with podcasts, and we found that just that image that you put out on your podcast, like on LinkedIn, no one is clicking on it. Nobody's clicking because it's just like, it's white noise for them. So putting it in a carousel or giving an additional piece. Maybe you talked about, a problem solving
too, video and audio. So I put the videos out.
Exactly. You put the video and then you can say like, find out why, this person recommended X. You'll find it in the podcast about 2 minutes in. And so then people are going to be like, oh, there's a specific thing I'm looking for. It's a juicy little tidbit that's going to help me. Now I'm going to jump into that, so versus episode 3 came out, like everybody's going to be happy for you, but nobody's going to go listen to episode 3. So.
Oh, that's a great tip there too. About, telling them what time stamping certain things. For them to go in and find and listen, and then they get hooked as they're listening. All right. I'm getting so many great tips from you, Lauren.
It is my pleasure.
Listen, I'm loving this, and I'm sure the audience is loving this too. And this is not just going to be on winwinwomen.tv. I'm going to put it out there, but I'm also going to put it out on our YouTube channel. So you've got to go to youtube.com/c/Alicia Couri. It'll be on like a week after, because this also goes on. It goes on. Oh, why am I drawing a blank now? 24 hours after it's on Win Win Women TV. It's also on Win Win Women TV Roku channel, on Fire, and Apple TV. So you can check us out on all those different platforms and hear all this amazing tips from Lauren. That is just, social media tips, because who out there isn't confused about social media? I know I put my hand up right there. Who among us isn't confused? So hopefully this has given you some confidence in stepping out and doing a little bit, and contacting Lauren if you get confused or feel like a deer in the headlights. So Lauren, how can people reach you?
I am on all the platforms, but my favorite is Instagram. So you can find me at lauren.lit. That's LITT on the IG. So.
All right. Awesome. Is there anything else you wanted to share before we close the show?
I want to share that the reason you started your business, the reason you're doing what you're doing, is because you saw that the world could be a better place because of the talents you have. please don't stop.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
And for all of you out there, be bold, be brave, and every day do one thing. And today was about social media. So put out one post to step out with audacious confidence. I'll see you next time.